Thank you, Brittany. Well, President-elect Trump continues to fill out his cabinet ahead of his return to the White House.
That's right, but questions are mounting as he vows to completely upend one of President Biden's signature policy pushes, student loan forgiveness. NBC News' Yasmin Voussouguian has the breakdown.
A consistent theme at his rallies and in interviews.
They talked about the debt for student debt, and they failed on it.
President-elect Trump railing against President Biden for his plan to wipe out up to $20,000 in federal student loan debt per person, a move the White House said could have impacted 1 in every 6 adults, who collectively have $1.6 trillion in debt. But the Supreme Court blocked the sweeping policy. So the Biden administration pivoted to expanding a patchwork of programs already in place to cancel debt. One example, the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, a Bush-era deal that forgives borrowers who go into certain public service jobs after 10 years of paying. Before President Biden, only 7,000 people wiped out loans under this program. Now, more than 1 million, according to his administration. In total, he says he's wiped out $175 billion for 4.8 million people. Experts do not expect a Trump White House to continue these programs, big or small.
I would expect that President Biden's pending regulatory loan forgiveness provisions will be dropped on the cutting room floor.
Trump's vice president-elect making the case that, in his words, forgiving student debt is a massive windfall to the rich. That claim, not so simple. The highest earners have the most debt, but even low-income students owe nearly $30,000 on average. Only about 40% of Americans think it's important for the federal government to provide student debt relief, according to an AP poll from May of this year, with a strong partisan split.
So President-elect Trump may not continue those Biden plans. Here's what he says he will do.
He's called for ending the entire Department of Education, as college campuses and even K-12 schools have become flashpoints in the nation's culture wars.
Department of Education, you say, what the hell do all these people do?
The department does not tell schools what to teach, but it provides funding for schools, oversees safety, and makes sure civil and disability rights laws are followed. Many Republicans argue the department's an example of government bloat and infringes on states' rights. He could slash funding and staffing, but he might end up keeping it to fulfill some of the party's goals.
Having a U.S. Department of Education allows them to pursue a lot of their own objectives.
Some of those: universal school choice, supporting homeschooling, opposing what they call critical race theory and gender indoctrination programs, and promoting curriculum that includes, quote, love of country. The Trump transition team telling us in part that voters gave him a, quote, mandate to implement the promises he made on the campaign trail. He will deliver.
Not all Republicans, but some have been calling for getting rid of the U.S. Department of Education for years